Leary. He is a lawyer. He owns Legacy Law and Planning Group. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
You know, this is a time when we're talking about all the things that go in as we age, or if you have an aging parent, to make sure all their I's are dotted, I guess, and their T's are crossed. And one of them is to make sure that you have a will, that your wishes are written down and are executed as you would like. And that is exactly what your law firm does.
That's right. That's right. You know, Karen, good planning addresses two important things. Number one, making sure that you take care of yourself while you're alive. And then secondly, making sure that your family is taken care of after you pass away. So for example, how might you plan to take care of yourself while you're alive? Well, let me ask you the question. What would happen to you if you become incapacitated? You become legally incapacitated, which doesn't necessarily have to be from some age-related
car accident,
right. Stroke, and like a blink of an eye, you are incapacitated. Well, who's going to make important decisions for you? Right. Who's going to make financial decisions for you, healthcare decisions? These are important powers of attorney and so forth. Important things to have in place that far too many people do not have in place, and really leave their family with a mess to clean up in that situation. And secondly, when they pass away, taking care of their family, at least having a will in place. And for older people, often a trust is a good solution, again, rather than leaving your family with a mess.
Right. Do you think that people just postpone this because it's a difficult, maybe topic, you know, to talk about? Nobody wants to think of themselves dead, so nobody really wants to talk about that. Or is it just, you know, what do you find?
Yeah, I find it's at the very bottom of the priority list, and it's the last thing that people want to talk about, or if they've thought about it, they say, well, there's always tomorrow.
Right.
There's always next week. You know, an interesting statistic I ran across is for somebody that at least has a will or a trust in place, the average length of time between having done it and picking it up again and revisiting it because things change in life, that average length of time is 19 years. So ask yourself, do you think anybody has been caught in that 19-year period saying,
sure,
I want to do this, I want to go make some changes, and they never got around to it?
It's those changes that worry me. Somebody's fallen out of favor with a relative.
Yes.
They're getting written out of the will, right?
That's right.
I'm sure you've seen that too.
Yes.
Okay, you know, here's a question for you, and I know you get asked this a lot. How can someone protect their child's inheritance from maybe if they go through a divorce, or if they're married to somebody whose ex-wife or ex-husband says, hey, wait a minute, I was a part of that. No, you're not. You know, at least you're not now, because these are the changes we're talking about. What can you do in a situation like that?
I get that question all the time. I love my children, but the last thing I want is for half of their inheritance to go to the son-in-law, the daughter-in-law. We jokingly refer to them as the outlaws instead of the in-laws. It may be a son-in-law you haven't met yet.
Yeah.
Or maybe you have, and he may be fine, he may not be fine. Even if he is fine, people change over time. So I want the inheritance to stay in the family. How do I do that? Well, there are ways that can do that. And that's primarily by setting up a trust so that in effect, the inheritance goes into a lockbox, a restricted lockbox. And when you pass away, your child can receive money from that lockbox. But if they do go through a divorce, that lockbox is off limits to any divorce settlement that there might be.
You know, money can also bring out the worst of people. In a time like this where you're trying to, you know, grieve and you're going through the bereavement process, you may have siblings at it for, you know, this is what mom would have wanted, this is what mom told me, but, well, if she didn't put it in writing, it's a mess.
Yes, I had the story where a mom passed with 2 adult children. She was a widow. She had her wedding ring and her husband's gold watch upon his retirement. And then he wanted the watch, or she wanted the watch to go to the son, the wedding ring to go to the daughter. But she didn't tell anybody.
Oh, no.
And they were such a close family. She passes away. They fought because they wanted the other item, and they haven't spoken for 8 years.
Oh, so that's a tragedy. So coming to see you can alleviate some of that.
Yes.
And let's talk, is it possible to protect your assets if you end up needing long-term care assistance? How do you protect your assets in a case like that?
Well, long-term care, the statistics are alarming. The number of people that will need some sort of long-term care, whether that's care in the home, assisted living, nursing home. Well, most people think the only way to pay for that is with your own resources, your own money. But with a nursing home at almost $10,000 a month on average for private pay, it goes through money pretty quickly. There are ways to protect some of what you have that you spend a lifetime of saving. You can protect that as you come to the point of needing long-term care.
Good information.
Yes.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you, Karen.
You bet.